Yeah. All right. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is a planning meeting for Goldeneye Sprint 4 for ONOS. It's going to be a 2-week sprint, primarily oriented towards fixing defects and buttoning up ONOS for the Goldeneye release. We're hoping to start the RC, the release candidate process, either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. So that just set some context for the sprint and for the efforts going into it. We're gonna look at the Jira tickets and start planning from there. Next page. Did everybody can you guys see my Simon? Can you see the screen share or no?
Not yet, but I have several screens, so I just need to double check.
Oh, I actually never started. So.
Oh, well, that would explain it.
Yeah. So you should see it now, right?
Waiting for it to come in. No, not seeing it. What are you showing? Just Jira list, right? Okay, I'm not hearing you at all now.
This is Min. I could see it.
Oh, you can? Huh, okay.
Are you showing the scramble, right? Yeah, I could see it.
All right, I need to figure out where that is. Oh, okay, now I got it. But I'm not hearing anything. Man, have you got audio too?
Yeah. I do not hear anything from them. I'm in a remote office.
Right, okay. I'll
Yeah.
text.
Yeah, I hear you, but not from the ONOS guy.
Well, I just pinged him.
Okay, I also informed the ON.Lab. I think they tried to solve problem.
Hello, can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can now. Or is that Luca?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay,
So
we got a phone.
resume where we were when we realized when nobody could hear us. If the 4435 topology doesn't converge after network partition is created and built. So is it something you're looking at Ramadan right now, or?
Yeah, it is assigned to me. I'm not looking at it right now, but I plan to.
Okay. So the ownership is fine,
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah.
And I presume so is for this one as well, too, performance regression bugs. You're looking number one.
Yeah.
And
4460, John, we discussed this briefly today morning, so he said he can take a look.
okay, so I'm gonna assign it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Cluster device role state out of sync.
I don't know what that is. If someone knows.
It seemed like
Is this the one
this was the one. Well, we sent it to Jeremy to look more into.
This is the one that you saw me that before,
Yeah.
and then there's somehow the state.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right.
Some of our other.
But we're gonna make sure that we can reproduce it first, right? Somehow.
Okay, so he can do more investigation and.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I told the Jeremy first.
Sounds good. Okay. So this one is currently assigned to me. It's a leftover from past sprint. Okay. So I'll just leave it on my name.
Okay.
Now, who should I talk to?
That one is Joe.
All right. Let ONOS match on VLAN ID. I presume this is.
Yeah, that's exported by me. Yeah.
Okay. Is that Ali? Is that good?
Yeah.
So this is kind of feature?
Well, it's not. Well, I mean, depending on how you see it, but it's blocking because all our applications match on VLAN ID any. So if you want to use the application on, you need to do it. You in general, I mean, we need to do it.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I could try it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I know enough about it. Should be okay. Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had this one like 2 sprints ago or before last sprint, but I didn't have enough time to fix it.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Resource allocation using path internet instead of the primary ID to allocate resources.
Yes. So this one is basically we compiled point-to-point intent into a path intent into a flow rule intent. To allocate resources in the resource manager, we use the intent of the path intent, but then as soon as we created the intent, we delete the path intent. So at that point, there's no way to connect anymore, to bind anymore the intent to the resource allocated.
I see.
And
so, Brian, you have enough context on this. Is that doable?
Sorry?
Is that doable?
We have two solutions. We have code for one, and we have another solution that we're debating about, but
yeah, there's already a patch in, and also show has lots of context on it. So,
all right. those cluster application states can be set to default values. This is due to the ECM, right?
Yeah, John, it was sent to you, but I can take a look. I had some code changes written, but I didn't fully test it. So
we were going to be putting a consistent map for application states, which is your problem, right?
Yes. So that is what I want to change, but my initial testing revealed some issues. So once we fix that, that is still the plan of action.
So I'll let you guys figure out the ownership, but it's either one of you two. Okay. Great. Intents cannot be satisfied and bounce between withdrawing and failed state.
I think this one is related. The symptoms of the first two ones that are assigned to Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's ownership is fine.
I mean,
it's related.
It should be resolved if the other two are
okay.
resolved.
Yeah.
Improve intent latency test.
Not a bug.
Not a bug?
Yeah, I think the rest are not bugs.
Okay, so we don't need to, but it's still on here?
Yeah.
But it's just a test.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Does that mean
got it. I was thinking numbers.
The test,
yeah.
I was reading numbers.
I was not reading text, I was reading numbers. Okay, that makes sense. Graph algorithm, okay. Okay, so Simon, the UI look and feel upgrade, that's that one story basically just to incorporate the visual designs from Monique, right?
That is correct, yes. It should just be CSS changes in the whole.
Okay, perfect. That sounds reasonable. Quick question, what do you want the plan to be for, you mentioned you would like to run this by Guru. Is this something you want me to do, or?
Yeah, I probably need you to do it. Monique still has to send us the spec'd out topology view, so until we've got that. But I can talk to you offline about that.
Yeah, but you're going to start without waiting for that, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right.
And then the next one is just work that Stephen Burrows has been doing. We just need to kind of tie up the loose ends. It's almost done, I think.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and I presume this is, okay, good. I was going to ask about shows changes.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's
those
important.
need to go in, yeah. Okay, and show not here. Okay. And no show. What? Is it? That's good. That's good. Had me puzzled there for just a little microsecond. This is actually very, very important because I think the VLAN resource tracking is causing us some issues, and so this is really important.
He has a code change that is in Gerrit right now. So
yeah, I looked at it. It looked reasonable to me, but I wanted you to
he wanted to actually. I think he ran some tests. He saw some improvements. He wanted me to run them as well. So I will own the next step on that.
Okay.
Thomas, sorry, do you mind to go a second on Gerrit and look for 3633, please? Sorry, not 3633. It's 9011. Yeah, just click on one randomly and then you change the name, the number. Sorry.
What is it?
9011. So I didn't understand. This is related to one of the bugs we already tracked, or is something else? Maybe also Madan has context into this.
Well, so the problem here is that if the installation if the time that it takes to install an intent exceeds the polling interval in the intent cleanup thread, intents get stuck in a.
Okay.
Yeah, basically where the work gets ahead of the.
Yeah, the one that we already track on Jira then. So this one, I'll change the reference to the one we tracked in Jira because now it's related to the virtual network creation.
Yeah, this is related.
I don't know.
If we go back to the.
We should move. Okay. Go ahead.
If you go back to the board, the bug that it's actually related to is.
It's that one. Yeah.
4890 or.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also related to this. The 4281.
Well, so it's separate, right? So addressing the performance issue will make the symptom. If you address the performance issue, it will make the symptom go away. But the underlying issue is still there.
It could still happen.
Yeah.
Probably.
If there's some other delays for whatever reason.
Sure. Yes. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
So that seems like a reasonable list of things. I mean, you should try to make all of these out. It's 69 story points. That seems to be probably one of our most realistic plannings.
But this is a 2 week.
Brian, you have
I understand.
You have a short duration, but you've got 4 assigned you. Are you going to share these with Show? Are you comfortable with that?
Oh, I'm not going to get all these done. That's for sure.
Okay. So how are we going to get them done then?
Yeah. So that's okay. That's a good question then.
Which ones are Brian's?
Well, Brian. So I mean.
What's your avatar?
Dog. It's a dog.
Dog.
So so Brian has 7 points here, 10 points, 13 points.
So this is a 2 week
2 week
right?
sprint, which is robbed. Basically 2 days. 3 days are gone because the holiday Monday, right?
Kind of like 1 week sprint because we're today in planning, right?
So I really have 3 days this sprint.
You have what?
I'll have 3 days.
1.33 bugs per day.
I'm like good velocity to the Okay, so maybe what would be the best?
So Show has a story, but Show could potentially take on some of this because Show has context for the parent, the resource, the resource parent tracking. So that would be a good story for him.
Yes.
That's
even if I know
3954.
Yeah, but even if I know he has lots to do still on the last one. Huh?
Well, so that's he potentially has a lot to do in the last one.
Or it could be order.
So
yeah, I'm just saying I don't commit from someone outside the company that is not
so 4553 is a 3-point story, but it's really subsumed by the other two. 4589 and 4590. So addressing those would address the other one.
So let's.
And I could probably get to those next week.
Broader context. Yeah. Let's have a discussion on that. Let's settle this one and we'll come back to that one.
But
so okay.
Those two I could address next week, and those two will address the 4553.
So you feel comfortable with
So you got 3 that you're comfortable with for finishing this sprint.
Yep.
Okay. So because
will you communicate with Show that we pass them off, or you want me to?
Well, so the thing about that story is that Show and I gave Brian Stanky one direction. Show gave him a different direction. So he pursued the direction that I asked him to pursue, and that is different from this. So really what needs to happen is probably the 3 of us need to sit down at some point and get on the same page.
Okay.
That's Michele from CreateNet.
Well, a different person that wasn't really even in. Well, anyway, Michele is blocked by this, but Brian Stanky put together one fix for this, which still would need to get addressed, which
is Michele.
No, the one we just looked at.
The one offshore, right?
No.
It's
the Garrett issue you have open right now. In the next tab.
Yes.
Code here.
Okay.
Would address. I think it's this one, right?
It's this one.
Well, that's what.
No. Oh, wait. There's another issue for the resource management.
Yes.
The 3954.
Yes. So that one, Michele sent the patch, and I'm talking about
Michele sent the patch. Yeah.
Right? Because it could help. But again, I cannot commit for Michele, right?
Yeah, so that was the one where I talked to Michele about a solution. Show wanted to do something different. And so now Michele is confused about what needs to be done for that.
I have every offer on Giant that calls and say I don't understand what to do. But they want to help.
Are you here Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday. Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe some of your time maybe would be best spent trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page and at least make sure to coordinate the work so that you're not, so that we can kind of get rid of the sort of the disjointed aspect right now between the
Yes. I'm just saying that I'm almost sure that if you send an email to Michele and you do half an hour call with him, and you say, this is our deadline, we would like to include it in the release, he will do it for you. As long as he knows.
I understand, but I mean, these things are never a half an hour, right? Like you spend a half an hour writing an email, and then
somebody comes back and has a question, and then it's another half an hour, and then you context switch back in. I mean,
I understand.
I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes coordinating what needs to be done can be
more time consuming than
and there's obviously long-term benefits to doing it. So I'm not opposed to working with community members to get them up to speed. I'm just saying that sometimes, like, this may be a 3-point story if we do it, or if we ask someone else to do it, it might still be 3 points worth of work for us.
Sure. But my reason for suggesting that was, since it's going to be sparse sprint for you, if you can make sure that the other people are at least have a chance of being productive.
Sure.
Based on the, you know, basically
Sure.
healing some of the disjointed.
I mean, if all that's on my plate this sprint is the coordination of these two issue buckets,
yeah,
I think that's probably reasonable.
Yeah.
As long as other stuff doesn't slip in, which.
Sure, it tends to, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go with that, and then and you can include me on that list of people so that I can be aware of this.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you got responsibility for them until, and you use Michaela and
Brian.
So and whoever else you need to, and to the extent, when you get to a point where it isn't going to work, let me and Thomas know.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
So Ray, looks like you're fine, right?
So I might be able to help out next week with one of the other ones. We'll see how lucky I get with these two.
Okay. But I think it's important that these get done.
Yeah.
So there'll be.
There's some stuff that I really want to get done for Buck for this sprint, but the stuff takes precedence. So.
Yeah, for sure. This takes precedence. Madan, you're all right. You have those two only, right? Which is 10 points.
Potentially helping with a couple of other.
Okay, good. John, looks like you're okay. You have 8. Jeremy has this one. I'm lightly loaded right now, but I expect to maybe jump on one of these in temporary if you want to as well. But it'll be also a short sprint for me because I'll be going this Thursday and Friday and then Monday. And then the rest of the
Tuesday and Wednesday also.
So yeah, I basically have just 4 days if you count today. But I should be available to help out anybody on these things. So it looks like he's all right. He's got 11 points, but hopefully one of those is almost done. All right, and the rest of them, Simon looks fine. Okay, so I mean, that's at least that's as far as the black sprint goes. The green sprint, I talked to Carmelo, and the P4 related work. Actually, you don't have it on here, huh? You're gonna continue to do the work on P4 and B, right?
The plan for just 2 weeks is to
but it's not really necessarily impacting the scope of the release. So on that note, Ping Ping had a question. She asked me, do you want to ask it again, just with respect to broader?
I know these 2 weeks is phrased for new features, but in MCode there is a new application from the collaborator. I want to ask whether they can merge in these 2 weeks or not. It's not we are not in a hurry. If it's not proper, we can postpone to next week. I just ask.
Postpone it. Yeah, I think you want to wait until we full branch and then merge it, right?
So they keep submitting it to Garrett, but with the Hummingbird label.
So are we going to say we're not going to merge anything really apart from those bug fixes switching over?
Yeah, that's very long time. Yeah.
So we can, I mean,
we can branch.
Yeah, can we not make a branch for Hummingbird that we can merge to?
Could do that.
Make the branch for Hummingbird? You mean Goldeneye?
Goldeneye.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they support branch.
Are we releasing Goldeneye? What are we releasing today?
Goldeneye.
We're releasing Goldeneye. Yeah. So we'll make okay. One of the 2.
Yeah.
Make a branch for Hummingbird or Goldeneye.
Which open master for continue to
pick one. Pick one of the birds to branch.
That's gonna be.
Yeah. So
Gonna
the
stack
only
on top of each other.
so that of course brings the questions, things like YAML tools and other stuff like that. Because that and BCE and BGPLS and all of those things will continue to be part of it.
Well, so what you do is you keep master on the next major release, and then you just say that this is the start of the release process for Goldeneye.
Exactly.
And you have the support branch we just cut now instead of later. And then anybody who's working on stuff that's targeted here just puts it into the Goldeneye branch, and they can either be cherry picked in, or we can say at the Goldeneye time frame we'll just merge all those changes in to master.
And then when it's time, you just put the tag.
Yeah, you'll put the tag on the support branch. But we should do one or the other. We should either say we're going to cherry pick the changes, or we're going to do a merge at the end.
Yeah, which is why I'm hesitating, because that actually puts a fairly time-sensitive task, another time-sensitive task to cut the support branch and essentially roll the version on it, roll the version on master.
So what you could do is you could just leave master the way it is. You can pick an arbitrary commit at whatever point in time you want and say the support branch is off that commit. You don't necessarily have to roll the version number on master, or we could do that right now. It would take a minute, right, to roll the version and create the support branch so that master just says 170 now, snapshot, and the support branch would be 160.
Yeah, so I guess
cut the RC. Right?
We don't even need to cut the RC. You could just say, let's just start a support branch off a random point in the tree.
Support branch, create a support branch, and then leave master open for checking. I don't see why that's.
So really, what you want to do is you want to find any outstanding commits in Garrett that are targeted for Goldeneye. Merge them. As soon as that's been done, start a support branch.
And you have to cherry pick any fixes that go into support branch.
Or we just say we're not going to cherry pick. Or we say we're not going to cherry pick and we'll merge.
Because you're not going to do it today or tomorrow.
But you have to do that today.
That's fine. Because do we have time to do it today? If you don't have time. You're going to be in a P4, you're going to be in a Stanford day.
And have an ONOS mini branching session following morning.
I guess I'm a little bit hesitant here. My thing would be, especially if it's code in the application space, it's not necessarily related to core, just let it roll in. Especially if it's on a protocols, legacy protocols, let it roll in. It's all optional extension stuff.
Okay, so applications, I'll agree with you, but like protocol stuff could have an impact on the behavior of the entire system. So you could be introducing.
Yes, but it's still application. The other thing is that you're allowed.
If I change something, say in the open source system, that could have an impact on a lot of people.
True. I was thinking more like the stuff like RSI and BGP.
Yeah. Okay. That's
yeah. But I mean I'm fine with either approach. I just wanted to make sure that it doesn't cause this sort of pile up that we do this thing right now.
Well, the other thing you could do is you could say any change that anybody has outstanding that wants into Goldeneye would just have to reparent the change. Like they'd have to.
You'd be based on the 1.5 whatever brand.
Yeah. So if it's going in, if you want it to go into Goldeneye, reparent it before it gets merged on master.
Okay. You basically merge it in two places, right? You have to put it in two places, in the master and in the support branch.
Yes. So we should decide whether. Well, yeah. You can cherry pick it into both places, and then we can do a merge at the end just to cover any bases that we didn't. Because normally we have a small number of changes that we wind up cherry picking, so that's an easier strategy than dealing with merging. Yeah. Especially because things are divergent.
I prefer the approach where you just cut a support or RC branch.
Yeah.
And then put it on there.
And apply any fixes to that. Right. Make that release. Then merge the results of that back into master.
Yeah. So that's fine. I guess what I was just saying is that when that period of time is at all extended, it's possible that fixes in one place are not necessarily applicable in another place.
We'll have to use our best judgment, right? For at least the part.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, say there's a bug fix here that makes a change, and say there's a feature enhancement that touches the same code.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
then that bug fix
may
not apply.
may create a conflict or may not apply.
It will create a conflict, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It will, but it also may not apply. So whoever did that fix will have to. I mean, it's going to be a painful process. That little part there will be a painful process, but.
But we need to make sure that that's not going to fall on one maintainer to deal with, because that maintainer doesn't have the context to do it.
No, and we should. I mean, it's the person who applied that bug fix that has to come and note that.
Okay, so what's the proposition here then? We just cut the release branch this afternoon.
I would say so.
Okay.
And if
so
you want stuff into
Goldeneye, create a support branch that stays on 160 snapshot, and move master onto 170 snapshot.
Yeah.
Okay. We also need to send an email. This is the process, right?
And that if you want anything in Goldeneye, you have to explicitly put a change in there.
Into the other branch.
Yep. And
and we also announced the restrictions for that they'll undergo much more scrutiny.
Yeah, and committers will be responsible for making sure that their changes that get into the Goldeneye support branch also
are
put into
sound
master.
scrutiny. Okay, so are you gonna cut the? Is there something you can do to cut the release?
The support branch, yeah, that's
support
just a version rule, sure.
And I can.
No, that'll take less than 3 hours.
I'm gonna be tagging party.
Not an RC.
Not tagging party?
Well, no, there's no building required here. Just change the version and push and run.
Okay, and I'll write up the message. I'll write the message. I'll run it by you two guys, Ali and Brian, and then you can send it out. Okay. Okay, so that'll be that.
Do you want to address the thing of Linux 16.04?
Yeah, if someone wants to do it.
Oh, that's the issue that it's the init to D or whatever it doesn't run.
Yeah, it's not a must-have, but
Wasn't Bob looking at it?
I'm not sure.
yeah, he.
Was it Bob?
Well,
I mean, you steal it from him, I guess.
Every time they release a new version of it,
Well, not this, but yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, but Bob found like a basic code that works on everything, but except until the 16.04.
Well, no, the thing is because they removed support, automatic support for the System 5 backwards compatibility.
Is there any way to have it automatic? Because you have to run this command on the box to get into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think we just run that command inside of our
To turn System 5 compatibility mode on, I mean, Jonah.
Yeah, if we can do that as part of ONOS install, you're right. But then for manual, we just need to document this for manual installation, right? Yeah. Basically, just ONOS requires this System 5 compatibility. So is there something we ought to add the defect from?
Well, we already have a ticket.
It's already in the backlog, but we need to add it to here, right?
Yeah, it's
It's a platform, right?
4400.
There it is, right on top. I'm gonna add it. The 2-pointer that right now I think Bob owns. But should we leave it with Bob, or should we have something you can do, Jono, or are you overbooked?
I would try and leave it with Bob.
Okay.
We can if not, I can make one.
Okay. All right. So I'll send a message to Bob that we basically documented it, and I'll suggest the workaround to ONOS install for now. Okay. Okay. So 71 points seems reasonable. Let's do this. Okay. I think that's it. Thanks, everybody. I'll presume you stop recording.
All right.